Last year, December, I decided to share a very personal, painful story with the world, with the entire world, basically. And I wrote it on my personal blog, LiberiaJew.com. And the goal of that was to heal. I had told a lot of people in my family about my experiences of being sexually abused as a child, starting at the age of 8. And every time I share that story with other people, people had similar stories to tell. And it was something that had been bothering me for more than 30 years. I decided that the final step for my personal healing was to talk about it publicly and hopefully create a space for a lot of other people to talk their stories as well, and start a conversation nationally around something that happens in a lot of homes in Liberia, but that is so silent because the act is perpetrated by people that children know, not total strangers. It happens with your fathers, your uncles, your brothers, your foster brothers, or just family members, cousins in the home, or even women, do these things to boys as well. When I published my blog, I think it was the 20-something of December, I realized very immediately, first of all, there was this initial reaction like, oh my God, what have I done? This is such a personal story to share internationally. But also, there was a fear, like I didn't want any kind of stigma with regards to, people see you now, I see you as an abused person rather than someone who's overcome this horrible experience into making a good out of it. What really shocked me, I mean, I knew that a lot of people experience sexual abuse, but the sheer magnitude of people that contacted me within 24 hours sharing their stories with me, realized how really pervasive this is. I have men and women calling me, telling me their stories and telling me what I had done, reminded them of what they had experienced, and they thought this was a really good way of forcing people to have a conversation. There were also people who called me who said that they hadn't thought about it in that way. Working people, how they leave their kids at home, and they didn't understand that kind of exposure it has on their children. And then this lady, Lapu Scott Harris, Lapu is involved with the local film industry here in Liberia, and then she contacted me and said, I want us to do a film on this. And I was like, just thought it was just one of the, because a lot of people contacted me and said, let's do something. And I said, yeah, let's do something, and nobody else followed through. And so a few weeks later, Lapu contacted me and said, okay, I have a script. Script for what? Script for your short story that you shared with us. She sent the script to me, I read it, I said it's a nice idea, and she said let's do a film, and so we did the film. Initially I was hesitant again, the fear factor, but then I said we need a face, we need to talk about this, and we need somebody who is confident enough, not shy, and can actually say this is me. Like how you have a lot of AIDS cases in the country, they keep doing cartoons where you have actual people here who are willing to say, let me be the face of AIDS. And so I saw this as an opportunity to talk, because a lot of people know me in the country, and if you can identify and say this is happening and she has experienced it, I'm hoping that you can create that conversation. There's always the fear of being stigmatized, but I decided to do this to protect or save another child from being molested. If by publicly discussing my story, I have brought healing to somebody else, I've given somebody else the strength, the boldness to be able to confront their perpetrator or whatever, to molester, I think I've done some good. So it's difficult, but at the same time, because I know the general good, the outcome that I'm looking out for, it kind of pales in comparison with my shyness or fear. the film starts with a flashback. I'm at my daughter's birthday party, and watching her blow out the candles on her birthday cake, made me immediately recall my own 8th birthday and the whole issue around the abuse. And so the movie kind of goes into a flashback here and there where it talks about watching my daughter being turning to 8, and then my own experience as a child at 8, and then it goes from there. Then it captures other parts of abuse, and that was important for us in the film. We talked about domestic violence, so you get the issue of that. We talk about rape, something that also happens, but then you also see that we talk about the sexual abuse, but then we talk about how, because we're all working mothers, you can't erase that fact. We're all working mothers, and how sometimes you have good intentions, but because we're so busy, we miss important things. It talks also about how our culture is in terms of we invite family members into our homes. So so it's not just about me as a parent, but it looks at different aspects of abuse and neglect, because you have the nurse in the home that you leave your child with, and just disinterest in helping you raise your child, and you have abuse by this nurse to your child. So different aspects of our culture is also capturing the film. Well, I don't know if it's going across the world. I'm hoping that it goes across Liberia a lot first. And hopefully we can get some international exposure for it, just in terms of raising awareness around the SGBV. My message is not necessary to the EU. I think, again, it's about us taking ownership of our solutions, and this is why it was important that KEEP was very much a major contributor to the publishing of this. And like I mentioned, the other lady, Lopu Scott, this movie was done 100% by Liberians with handheld cameras, utilizing very limited resources. So imagine how powerful this message that we're sending out is, just utilizing very minimal tools. We didn't need really any kind of big funding. And there are so many stories that we have within our communities that we can actually tell. People watch movies here a lot. People want to watch African shows a lot. And so we thought this would be a good medium to stimulate conversations. I think it's a good way of looking beyond the EU, looking beyond whatever international funding. With these are ways we can also, number one, tell our stories our way. 2, we can also create awareness in a wider space. But also, it tells me that we don't need thousands of dollars. We shot this movie with less than $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And simply because the actors, the actresses, the production crew were committed to seeing this story being told. And that, for me, is so powerful. And so we did the film. It was partially funded by the European Union, and it was recently launched at the European Union Week Film Festival. We're actually planning a screening of the movie at the TM Mall on the 26th of May, next Saturday at 2 o'clock, and we're inviting a lot of people, and we're hoping that we can have conversations around it. Currently with the EU Film Festival, the movie is kind of lost with other movies that they've supported. So I want the issue of sexual abuse, sexual violence to be very prominently discussed, and so we're doing the filming there. My goal is to have this film free of charge to people all across the country. We'll upload it on YouTube so people can watch it and download it from there. But personally, I intend to have screenings in schools, in communities. Every time we have an engagement that is about 2-3 hours, we will find an opportunity to play the film or parts of the film to kind of stimulate conversations around sexual abuse. So we're going to have it in as many communities as possible across the countries. It's not going to be limited to one movie. And again, the goal is to have a conversation, create awareness, but also talk to people on how we can try to educate our children on sexual abuse and how they can protect themselves, as well as be bold enough, to talk about it and report if it happens.